Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to bring you a quick little game that came out of the Netolic Dota 2 League. Their second edition, sponsored by Reidy, so much props out to Reidy, putting on some awesome tournaments nowadays. And this is, I believe they have 8 Western teams and 8 Eastern teams that are eventually going to, after the group stages, come out and play against each other. I believe that's how it's structured anyways. So, it's kind of like you have a little Eastern Division and you have your Western Division. So that's really cool. That's at least very unique. So, I am going to at least do all the Eastern casts that I can find, and then I'm going to go back and do all the Western casts. It's just, I know Eastern European. Alright, I know Eastern Dota better than I know Western Dota. Because I grew up with Asian Dota. But anyways, here we have MUFC. First is First Departure. The Malaysians up against the Singaporeans. See, pretty standard bands coming out so far. First Departure realizing that they want the Batrider or the Nyx Assassin. So assuming that MUFC bans them both, they can just take out 2 bans of their own. Actually, they're going to go ahead and get their hands on top of the Nyx Assassin. So that's if they want it. I don't know who else they would take other than maybe Keeper of the Light or a Wisp, but Wisp really doesn't have that much play in Eastern Dota. Asian Dota. I'm sorry. I have to change one thing real quick. I'm sorry about this.
10 seconds remaining.
There we go. So yeah. So
5 seconds remaining.
I'm probably gonna think about this. My best bet is they're gonna go ahead and take the Nyx Assassin. They're just deciding whether they want it in the middle lane or if they want it in the off lane. I believe Lawson plays their off lane or their mid, but I'm most likely wrong about that. I haven't seen too much First Departure. I watched them during the Armageddon tournament, but I didn't really memorize their lanes during that. I just liked how they played. Not to mention I went to high school in Singapore, so I have a little bit of a special connection to Singapore. Mainly Zenith, because I met a couple of guys in real life, which is like awesome. Probably don't remember me, but it was still cool. Anyways, First Departure still just taking their time. I wonder if they were actually like hoping that the Nyx Assassin would get banned so they could have the Magnus in middle. It'd be kind of interesting. Like kind of taking it from the reverse, because most people say take Magnus as a first pick, because it's like, oh god, he's still in the pool, we have to take him. I don't want to give that away. Don't get me wrong, he's a godly hero, but I don't know. It's like pretty boring to play. It's only really cool once you start getting the like 5-man armies. And they go with an anti-mage first pick. Alright. So that's definitely unexpected. Yeah, just anti-mage first pick. Alright. Trying to decide the rationale behind it because they could easily pick it up in their second and third pick. Like the Nyx Assassin gun, then go Shadow Demon and Shadow Demon and anti-mage. I wonder if they're really that afraid that Winter was going to go ahead and pick that up first, because having watched Winter draft a lot, doesn't really do the early anti-mage pickups. He does the early coddle pickups for himself, and he's going to go probably Nyx and Shadow Demon. Alright, that makes a lot more sense actually, because the problem with having first pick is you only get 1 pick. So only able to pick up the the anti-mage means that Shadow Demon goes to MUFC. So MUFC right now have actually quite a bit of flexibility. Shadow Demon can run an aggressive tri-lane, he can also run a defensive tri-lane. And on very rare circumstances he can't go mid. And they're gonna go ahead and pick up the Darkseer. I mean, makes sense. Darkseer, pretty much the best offlaner in the game. And can go solo.
10 seconds.
I mean, you just go solo in any lane. You can go in all 3 lanes, but it looks like anti-mage will be on the easy lane. So Darkseer can go into the jungle, into the offlane, into mid. So it's still very open. wonder if they thought that the next assassin would be used with mid. So then the Darkseer would be able to bully him out of
Dire
play,
team pick.
and the Rubik's to pick up. So a defensive support to go ahead. Defensive support to go with the anti-mage makes enough sense. MUFC have quite a bit of options with their lanes they can go. Personally, I'd like to see. What would I like to see actually out of MUFC? Let's see. You could go with the much harder carry, which I think is what they need to pick up now. They need to pick up their carry here, just because the kind of versatility, like the fact that so many carries are right now. You've got Lone Druid, Lone Druid, and the Lifestealer banned out, and Anti-Mage already picked up.
Remaining.
So you really and First Departures probably just spend their next 3 bans on only carries.
Serve time.
So what is MUFC going to do? That is the question. My best bet is a Void. Void couples really well to do, with these.
Tinker.
Oh, a Tinker. Alright, gonna go ahead and compete with Anti-Mage on the split push. Makes enough sense. Not to mention the blind makes it so that Anti-Mage always goes for a Manta to begin with, but it gives one more thing he's got to deal with Mantaing out of. Not to mention Tinker can also go for, almost every Tinker does go for a Sheep Stick, which, so you can permahex the sheep, or permahex the sheep, yes, permahex the Anti-Mage, so he just can't do anything whatsoever. Alchemist is going to go ahead and get banned out, and what I was saying by picking up a carry harder than Anti-Mage, I was saying you either go balls to wall aggressive, or risky, sorry, not aggressive, you go balls to wall risky with an Alchemist who can outfarm and will eventually just outcarry an Anti-Mage by nature. Not super hard, it's very up in the air who actually wins that.
Radiant team.
At least I don't have any stats to say who wins against a fully amped up Alchemist versus a fully amped up Anti-Mage. Maybe somebody could tell me. That'd be really nice to know, actually. But yeah, then they're gonna man out the Coddle. Coddle just so good at defensively pushing, and they're gonna probably ban out the other 2 supports that work well with Rubik, which would be the Lestrak and Lina. Lina already been banned out, so the Lestrak probably gonna be MUFC's last ban. Just making sure there's no real good supports left in the pool for First Departure. And if First Departure doesn't ban out the other hero that I was suggesting, which is a Void, then I'd be very surprised. Void just not couples unbelievably well with the March of the Machines out of Tinker. Not to mention, you can just solo Sphere Anti-Mage pretty much at any point in the game and kill him. You are almost always naturally go for an MKB. So when Anti-Mage gets his Butterfly, it won't make that much of a difference. And you can also just, if you go for the Battle Fury, and they actually ban on the Shadow Fiend. That's a very Southeast Asian Dota ban. When you know that all your the lanes are being pushed out and that Shadow Fiend can be nice and safe, he can actually do really, really well. I don't know. I think that with a Tinker, and I mean, it all depends on what build the Tinker goes for. It'll probably be a March of the Machines build, so they shouldn't have to worry about too much about getting pushed early. And they'll have like infinite turtle potential. And the Lestrak, yeah, that's what I was talking about. The other hero that really couples with Rubik. So First Departure still need a mid. I think that MUFC is pretty happy with their mid. I mean, depending on who's up against too, but Tinker actually does really well against pretty much every mid. He's just bad at surviving ganks really easily. Kind of becomes like the Shadow Fiend. He's less so much the Shadow Fiend effect. It's like he's a Shadow Fiend on a time limit, pretty much. You have X amount of time to gank him, but you know during that period of time he has no way to retreat.
5 seconds remaining.
And I say X amount of time because March of the Machines will most likely be running constantly, so your supports will be taking massive damage. So you gotta kill him quick. And so that's why MUFC banned out so many of those quick burst really, really bursty supports. So the Lina is gone, the Lestrak's gone, both with the nice split Earth and Light Strike Array to deal the extra damage really quickly with the Rubik's Lift. And so they actually go with the Sand King, yeah. See, Sand King's a hero that can't do nearly as much burst damage as you know, Orlo Shrek.
Templar Assassin.
So they're gonna feel a lot safer, and actually they're gonna go with a TA, so that'll be a TA easy lane. I like that quite a bit. I don't think TA gets enough. Oh, unless that's an FC long lane tinker. That's something I've been ruling out. That might be what it is. I think that's actually gonna be a long lane tinker. Because what they could do is just have the tinker stack the ancients constantly. But no long lane's been banned out, so I wonder if that was just their idea from the very beginning. It's like, you know what? Let's be greedy. There's an anti-mage on the field. He won't be able to do too much
10 seconds
to a tinker.
remaining.
And now with the fact that all the really, really aggressive supports have been banned out,
5 seconds
not
remaining.
nearly as scared. I mean, Rubik will lift a target,
10
be able to lift
seconds
Tinker
remaining.
back into the Burrow Strike, and then have Fable.
5
That's
seconds
all the
remaining.
damage they could do.
Queen of
That's their mid. Queen of Pain.
Dire team.
Nothing terribly surprising. I think they're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, which is that, oh, that T is mid. But assuming sentries, so TA wins mid against Queen of Pain, unless TA gets, or unless Queen of Pain gets buried sentries to put down in the middle, so that, because otherwise TA can just meld strike, or just use meld to dodge
10 seconds. 10
Shadow Strike.
seconds remaining.
Which makes it so that Queen of Pain not only loses mana, but
5
makes it so
seconds remaining.
TA never loses any of her refraction charges defensively.
Reserve
Which you
time.
can just very, very easily farm middle lane. It'll be interesting. That's something to look out for. So, this is actually really versatile. I mean, they could pick up literally anything here. I still think it's going to be a Void. I really do. I mean, you have the really aggressive mid game, while the Void can just farm. They're just gonna, with the Tinker, split push, while TA, Shadow Demon, and Nyx Assassin all go ahead and go to balls to the wall, ganking. And they could use another stun. I mean, Chronosphere not only gives them a little bit of team fight disruption, gives them the stuns from the auto attacks, and most likely the MKB. Just make sure. Oh crap! I am sorry. Oh, and they go Windrunner. Alright, so I was being falsy thinking that it was going to be a FC Tinker.
Radiant team pick.
But it's WW on the Nyx Assassin. I know it stands for something. Wait, what? FC? FC. Am I mixing something up? Because I swore FC was their long laner. I might be screwing it up because this is just, it might be XY. Oh, anyways. Sorry, let's go ahead and jump into the game. So, on the side of... Sorry, let me close down all this crap that's on in the background. It'll help lag just a tiny bit. Anyways, we have FTG on the Tinker, Taylor Swift on the Windrunner, FZ on the Templar Assassin, WW on the Nyx Assassin, and Winter on the Shadow Demon. So they're all just hanging out in top,
to showtime.
making sure that that doesn't get screwed over. And that will be a solo top Tinker. Interesting. So, guarding the river, we have the Darkseer. It looks like he's going to be going up into the top lane. Queen of Pain in the middle lane as the fight jumps to life. And scripted, Lubby,
Here we go.
and Magic Carpet, or I believe, dang it, I don't have the, I had the rosters up, but I don't right now.
Got a feeling this is gonna be good.
So let me just make sure it's named right. Okay, yeah, I thought that was Poisson. I was very, very confused. But Poisson on the Queen of Pain.
You
And
are
it will be
simply
FC.
not worthy.
Oh yeah, FC is right. What am I talking about? So FC on the TA mid. And it is going to be a long one. Taylor Swift. And yeah, so it's a farming tinker. Just going to be able to get his BTs up real quick and not have to worry about that Darkseer causing him too many issues, unlike if the TA was up there. And so far, FC doing a very, very good job in mid, making it so Queen of Pain has literally not been able to get anything at all. She even went for a much heavier regen and stat build, but still just not able to get enough out of this lane. I mean, every hit FC has been right on the mark for causing the harassment. I don't think... No, he's lost 2 last hits. Alright. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, this is actually a aggressive tri lane with WW, Taylor Swift, and Winter. I forgot who Taylor Swift was. I remember I checked, but I just forgot. To help, I mean, this isn't a let's go kill them tri lane. This is a let's cut off EXP tri lane. Let's make sure these supports can't get the money that they want. So both these are very level dependent supports. So they're gonna just make it as hard as possible for them to get any form of EXP out of this lane. And Anti-Mage is going to have a very hard time getting the last hits he wants. You can already see that Tinker has 6 last hits, while the Anti-Mage only has 3. Not sure if you can hear that, but one of my sweet mates decided it was the perfect time at 9 o'clock at night to take a shower. So, whatever. That's happening, just so you know. So I'm sorry if you hear a little bit of running in the background. Yeah, we see that Queen of Pain didn't get the regen medal that she would have wanted, but she has her bottle out now, so she'll be virtually fine. FC not getting meld just yet, just making sure that he can get the harassment with the refraction and the psi blades, and willing to take a little bit of extra damage. Already does have the room, so. Squid. Oh yeah, the G1 courier. Cute little thing. But I personally think that you can actually get away with level 1 refraction while getting meld earlier. But you know, gets meld regardless. And still gets all the last hits he could have ever wanted. Actually behind a couple, but that's only because he went for the room. Meanwhile, down in the aggressive tri lane, nothing really has happened. It's just this huge issue for the Anti-Mage to get everything that he wants. And Tinker just having to tank up some creeps underneath this tower. It's gonna be totally fine with it. That was more than enough regen. I missed that last hit. But and the Darkseer just gonna do his best to cut off the creep wave, and it's actually bottle crowing because it's Southeast Asian Dota. And just gonna go ahead and be able to get his I'm not actually sure if you go for bottle, do you also get soul ring? I think you will. You also get the soul ring just for the extra sustain. But this bottom lane looking relatively peaceful. Not so much peaceful. The Anti-Mage, but the Anti-Mage is getting enough out of this for their defensive tri lane. You know what? That's actually means a lot. It just means this aggressive tri lane isn't doing nearly enough. Given, yes, the Windrunner is also getting farm, but just like not as much. Not to mention the supports out of MUFC are also taking a hit because of this. Go ahead and check the EXP. Really nothing at all. Like 200 EXP at 4 minutes. Nothing big. But it'll be interesting to see how this game progresses. For now, just nice and mellow kind of game. Mid lane, I mean, this is 8 denies. The only difference is that because the TA has been going for the runes, she has a minor amount more more last hits. Just only down by 2 and one deny. We see that TFG is going to.
That's a first blood.
Oh, whoa! What first blood on FC?
The Dire might want to mine this top tower.
He must have run out of mana, so he couldn't fract. And meanwhile, we have another kill down on the bottom lane. We're gonna go ahead and get shackled up and just burst down by the supports. Notice the supports are actually level 3 now. Well, everyone in this training's level 3 now, except for the Anti-Mage. He's level 5, so he's having a great time. We're gonna pure level, and we see that it's pretty much even across the board. I still think this bottom lane's turning out just ever so slightly better for
Dire's mid tower could use a little help.
For the Radiant, just because this Anti-Mage just managed to find that little bit of extra EXP to get himself up to level 5.
Tower's getting beat down.
So even with the kill, I still say let's up get ahead. But mid not going nearly as well anymore for this TA. At 6 minutes ideal, you should have your bottle and your phase, but she's been kind of, I wouldn't say shut down, but definitely hurting a little bit. Down 9 last hits now, and you say, oh, 9 last hits, not that much. I mean, it's 400 gold. Plus, you add the fact that he lost the 350, 400 gold for first blood, and all that was unreliable. So he would have had his phase right now. See, I mean, more around Quap's gold, which is 1,000. So, yeah. Anyways, you know, gets a TU scroll, so can survive or can escape if need be. Tinker just getting whatever he can out of this top lane. I think that he is going to go ahead. Unless it's for triangles, but I doubt it. He's going to be going for that very, very special Soul Ring. Yeah, Soul Ring. Ooh, I can words really well. But I mean, this bottom lane, what they're doing is just doing the push up, slaying constantly, so that the supports get discouraged from
Radiant's
pulling.
top tower's hurting.
They know that they can do it because First Departure don't exactly have the most aggressive supports in the world. Honestly, they have. I view it that they have two setups than they do have. They have two reliable or high damage things. Because the thing is, with like a Lina or the Shrek, the stun and damage is much more unreliable. But if you have a setup, it's insane, for lack of better words. But the Rubik Lift, all it does in this case is instead of landing one of these high risk, high reward abilities, all it does is make it so this medium risk ability of Burrow Strike is guaranteed to hit at earlier levels. Because in later levels it doesn't really have any sort of an impact. Anyways, you see that now we have what type of boots? Yep, phase boots coming on out for the TA, and we have the power treads done for the Quap. Queen of Pain actually going to go ahead and go up to top lane. What for, we shall soon find out. Probably going to look for a gank on this Tinker.
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
See what build are you going for? He's going for the laser and laser and maxing marks machines. Interesting, but we see Quap coming in after the vacuum, Queen of Pain going up, and in fact her ultimate going off just to secure the kill. So nice, easy, quick kill on the Queen of Pain, and now going to farm up this huge stack. Oh my goodness, that's a ton of gold influx coming right on in for that Darkseer.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
Yep, I think that was like a free 400 gold. And all that they did that for was just they wanted to make sure that Tinker got farther and farther away from his boots. I mean, that was 272 gold. So he was only about 300 off. So whoa. Lost about 300 gold, and he is about 600 off.
Dire's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
And all that FC traded, or First Departure traded that for was a little bit of extra farm on the TA. TA can't exactly push towers very quickly. She still does a ton of damage to towers, but she's no longer good if you leave them alone. She's not even a Shadow Fiend if you leave them alone. And this bottom lane, still having seen no real action at all. The support's not getting much, if anything at all. I mean, this Sand King is pretty much has what he came with into this world, and scripted nothing much either. I mean, he has boots, so EA for him. Oh, just kidding, he does have boots. Alright, it's just on the courier. I was gonna say, he's got 3 whole last hits. Why isn't he using that money? And natural gold gem. The next assassin at 500 gold, actually, disruption going out onto the anti-mage, just gonna be some harassment. And actually, scripted taking a ton of damage, might actually end up dying here. Spike Carapace saving himself, and yes, will end up going down. That was really well played by the Shadow Demon. Actually released poison before the Windrunner hit to make sure that Windrunner would get the last hit. So really well played by Winter. No real surprise there. Meanwhile, on top, we just see more harassment coming out. I think that MUFC really didn't take into account how much of a pain this Darkseer would be. Excuse me. Wouldn't take into account how much a huge pain this Darkseer would be against the Tinker. They thought, oh, you know, it'll be fine. But I think you need to go March and Rockets, not March and Laser. Laser's good, but I think it's only good for the miss rate. Nothing else really. Rockets is just pure damage. I mean, all that happens is you just get more and more damage out of it. And now we see why they wanted that Tinker to go in the easy lane. So you have such an easy ability to stack when you're being pushed in, like by a Darkseer, that it would have just been simple. And we see that he's gone and is farming up the last little bits to get his TP boots. I honestly think if that gank hadn't happened, he would have got it at about 9 minutes, because that stack had about 400, almost 500 gold in it, and he was only about 600 plus. He was only about 600 off. But Darkseer goes ahead and destroys the tower. So that tower is gone. Meanwhile, looks like the same thing is going to happen out on the bottom lane. Tinker, now with his travels, able to easily get quit, or just push down and disturb the defense by the Radiant. But we still see in the middle lane TA and Queen of Pain trading virtually equally. I mean, even after FC died, he still has managed to recover. Just in terms of last hits, is now back on par with the Queen of Pain, who actually has an ultimate orb up now. Those two ganks proving to give her tons and tons of cash. And yeah, now actually has an ultimate orb up, but ooh, this gold might be short-lived. Maybe, possibly. Yep, now it's gonna be short-lived. No, actually it's not. The Impale goes out onto the Darkseer, and before I can even finish talking, Laser into the mana burn means a very dead Darkseer, which means now they have the pushing advantage. Even though their ward might be gone, Tinker's just going to be able to TP back. Actually, long range Impale out on to AMG onto Lubby, but gets shackled. But the lift ends up saving him for a couple of seconds, but the Shadow Demon damage ends up picking him off. Meanwhile, sorry, just so much action going on. Tinker picking off the Rubik. Wow, Windrunner actually ends up denying the next assassin because he had the Shadow Sting on him. Quap was taking a ton of damage, but really there was no huge lockdown to bring her down. And TA will go ahead and destroy the tower. So at the end of the day, MUFC taking a huge advantage, getting 3 kills for 1 and a tower last hit on pretty much their main carry. I'd say TA is, if not their main carry, then something in the brain of MUFC is going on. I was going to say that maybe the Tinker, but I mean, Tinker, as the game gets later and later, yes, he does quite a bit. I just feel like he doesn't have that oomph as a hard carry like an anti-mage has. Speaking of which, we haven't really talked about him at all. 15 minutes, still no Battle Fury, but getting close. When you have an aggressive tri lane like that, you do expect things like that to happen. Pretty much things to go awry. The anti-mage won't be getting his 12-minute battle fury. He won't be getting, what he'll be doing is he'll be getting probably more like, ooh, a lift. Sorry, before anything, lift goes off. Sand strike just a little bit. Burrow strike a little bit too early. Shackle goes off, but the Queen of Pain ulti goes on through, manages to pick off the next assassin. Didn't have the spiked carapace up, and just joins the rocket. So nice little play by him. Straight 1-for-1, but they're trading their offlaner, who is getting tons and tons of farm, for an extremely underfarmed support. So once again, a nice little simple trade out of MUFC that they're coming out ahead on. Once again, no ultis blown, and Queen of Pain's ulti was blown. So, and that even started out on the wrong foot. I mean, imagine if Nyx Assassin still managed to get his ulti hit, his Vendetta hit off. That would have been another 250 damage right on into that team fight, and would have probably been able to pick off that Sand King, who kind of screwed the pooch on that burr strike he did. Just a little bit too off the mark. Anti-mage now being able to be, or has now been left alone for a little bit, is about 300 gold off. Yeah, 300 gold off from his Perseverance or Perseverance. Next assassin, just kind of looking around. Actually, if they're able to get a pick off on the anti-mage, that'd be really big. And Impale, Magic Burn, all goes out. Ooh, can he get the laser? And yes, he does manage to get in range for the laser. Puts TFG onto a killing spree and a very crucial kill on the anti-mage in the bag. He could actually start working right towards his sheep right now. Not saying say fuck the blink, but he won't, because he'll probably be buying it right now. Say screw the blink dagger. I'm just gonna fuck so much blink dagger. I was gonna say screw the blink dagger. I'm gonna get the ultimate orb. You know, start working right this second on my my hex. I think that too many people leave the hex until the anti-mage already has the manta style. It's like, oh crap, now he's a manta style. What do I do? Gotta start working towards it. You gotta expect that the anti-mage is gonna go for it. So might as well get it before he even has the item before it. So I believe that's his. Yeah, see that little pick off actually ended up doing quite a bit. He's still a couple hundred off. Also, that freaking courier is adorable. But yeah, they're gonna go. MUFC is gonna take this time to go ahead and go into Roshan. FC doing the very smart thing and going straight for a BKB, realizing screw it, they've got so much magic damage, and there's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to do anything unless I get that up. Winter going for the nice little medallion of courage, realizing he can medallion of courage. The person he's disrupting, and then have two illusions that will be doing even more damage to the to said person he disrupted. Taylor Swift's just doing the things. Doing the last hits. Already has the mech up, so that's. I mean, any mech before 20 minutes is good. Any mech after 20 minutes is still buy it anyways, because mech is always good. So it's ideal before 20 minutes, but
Radiant's top tower
but still acceptable to get afterwards. Should never be like, oh my goodness, it's 20 minutes and I am only have a headdress. Time to just keep that as a schedule. You should never do that. You should always say, just dedicate. It's like, alright, I only have a headdress at 20 minutes, but you know what? I might as well just get it because our team needs it no matter what. He's Quap, just taking a ton of damage, gets purged right on out, and slowed by the TA trap. So probably going to go down here. Actually going to go ahead and just kill the Rubik Meld Strike with an already with a medallion already on him, just evaporated, and I believe just one hit. That was insane. And 2,400 gold right back on that TA. even though she got first blooded. She's making a great recovery.
Dire's bottom tower's getting the business.
But we do see that overall, first departure is farming the map more.
The Dire best do
And there's just
something
nothing.
about the bottom tower.
I mean, there's things they can do about it, but it happens when you're going this very heavy split push strat. And I say very heavy because you've got a freaking tinker on the map. Whenever you have a tinker or a nature's prophet, you're just saying, alright, we're split pushing. We're going to go not nearly as hard of a carry, and we're just constantly going to have their lanes pushed out. Which is good most of the time. I mean, it's a solid strat. But at the same time, yeah, at the same time, you're not farming as efficiently. You're still farming, just not as efficiently. See, anti-mage, already another 1k gold up. Battle Fury's a bit late, but once again, can't blame him. That aggressive tri-lane was very restricting, so he's just gonna blink up into the trees and say, you know what, screw it. I feel something's going on here, everyone's off the map. That is just more wards. Well, not for Winter. Double damage on FC. Now he gets his blink dagger. So now he's gonna be able to do that blink meld strike shenanigans, do all the damage they could have ever wanted. Especially with the TD rune. Just kind of evaporates, not evaporates. An anti-mage, she's in the TV scroll he had, to go ahead and excuse me. Go ahead and farm out.
Better days.
Farm out. The Darkseer is the one who went for the mech on the team. Pretty standard that the offlaner gets the mech unless you have a jungler or some really farm supports. It just, I mean, it's just another way of doing a lot for your team. I personally think that more profit should get it after their mechanism, or sorry, after their Handamitis. Go Handamitis mechanism. I mean, you still get it before 20 minutes. It helps you a lot with pushing, helps you a lot with your survivability. It makes sense to get it. And then go for your Shadow Blade or whatever else you're using for your split pushing. But we can see it's not your word right there, so you should probably know. But that is a dead Rubik Meld Strike after the Impale, and FC is on a killing spree. Meanwhile, Quap is pushing out the top. So this is actually a very timed push. Can't push nearly as well as March of the Machines with a TA, but you know, it's still a threat in and of itself. And actually ends up doing what I love. More Queen of Pains need to do this. First item, Hex. If you're not getting picked off constantly, there's no reason for you not to do this. Don't go for your Aghanim Scepter, don't go for your little like Hex. Just go full on with Disable. Be unbelievably helpful to your team, not to mention the fact that while they're a sheep, means they can't attack you, means you get to attack them for free, and they're moving at no speed. It's pretty much a stun, and it's pretty much amazing. Because it's reliable. And reliable is ideal. See, FCFC with another 2400 gold after getting his Blink Dagger, so I'd love to see, I'd probably expect crits coming out, just because might as well just make it even crazier. Other options are Yasha, or I don't know, actually. You know, just see just those two options. Purge comes on out, gonna get impaled up, but had the refraction up, so it doesn't get instantly melted, but still gets melted nonetheless. Darkseer probably gonna be the next to go down. Actually has his haste, but gets kind of screwed over, or gets screwed up with the disruption, thinking that he had just only 2 levels in it. Okay, you know, he won't be out of range, but actually has 3. But meanwhile, we have Anti-Mage and we have Queen of Pain pushing out the lane. Nixus has an instant pops his Spike Carapace. Pretty cute.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
But yeah, we see that meanwhile, split push kind of having its effect.
The Dire might want to mine
bottom lane pushed out.
Radiant's bottom
But really
tower's
pushed
better
out.
days.
Yeah, that very nice new stout shield icon.
Tower's getting
Just chilling there.
down. Dire's got one last
And
top tower.
yeah,
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight
that's what's
right
happening
now.
right now. 4 staff up on Windrunner. Let's see if it's oh crap! I just totally screwed that up. My apologies. And I clicked it again. Wow. Where's the new item? There it is. Items. Anything spectacular coming out of any of these heroes. We see Tinker actually is working towards his he has his ultimate orb now. 1500 gold, so 1200 off from that next part of what will be the sheepstick. So, see, Anti-Mage doesn't quite have his Manta yet. Has it really close though. I mean, 2200 means only 800 gold off from that Manta style, and that will be what he is going for. Did I just do another? Oh, good. Sorry, sometimes my mic likes to mute itself randomly whenever I launch the game, so I just want to make sure I wasn't doing an entire another cast, which would be the 3rd that I've done, where I just have the replay, but
much longer.
nothing else. So yeah, we see that, as I kind of expected, FC is gonna head and go for those crits, and then we'll be going for the full data list, mainly because that damage stacks with the refraction, so you're critting with that bonus 80 damage that doesn't get added on afterwards, like how Shadowblade now works. You can't crit the damage to added damage. You know, see, this Rubik's just been having a very sad game. 0-6, just so depressing. Getting caught out. Darkseer 0-2, just 0-1 sanking. It's just like the saddest sports in the entire world. But meanwhile, Queen of Pain's having a nice game, and so is the Anti-Mage, who now has his Manta style at 27 minutes. Once again, you want it more up around the 22-minute mark, but because of the start he had, everything's going to be delayed by about 6 minutes. Yeah, I'd say about 6 minutes. Meanwhile, Smut goes up with Windrunner as the sort of bait. Actually, a huge Blink Impale out on to the Sand King, and Sand King's already dead. Meanwhile, Nyx Assassin's gotten sheeped up, but then gets instantly disrupted. Huge vacuum into the Queen of Pain. Pain ult, but it just really wasn't enough damage, and Darkseer and Rubik managed to get taken down in the process. Queen of Pain getting kind of greedy farming up those creeps, but feels confident, has her blink up, so you know, why not? She's putting points into attributes instead of Shadow Strike. Like that a tad, but instantly blinks and TPs the second any sign of danger came, so not as greedy as it could have been perceived to be. But TA only, I believe, 1200 off from, or no, 1000 off from her data list, and all of a sudden that Queen, or that TA's damage output is just gonna skyrocket as soon as that 1.75 times crit turns into 2.4. It's just a huge difference, and once again, this can be another Roshan now with negative 11 armor. Just takes so much damage from these heroes, and the second that crit happens, it's just be like, yeah, see, that's 500 damage in 1 second. Like, that's not even a second, split second, a right click. That's crazy amounts of damage, and it's pretty much because this Tinker is going to be constantly marked to the machines, casting marked to the machines, not making that a verb. It's just going to make it so it's going to dissuade FD from even getting that close, and TA now with their second Aegis be able to farm with unbelievable amounts of ease, and I believe she has her recipe up on, has the recipe on the courier, so after this ancient camp we'll be able to get her data list, then we'll probably be going back and be like, yo, what's up, gonna have the full HP and gonna be killing all yo peoples now, and note that's her damage without refraction up, so that's a ton of damage. Meanwhile, I'm just getting pushed out by this anti-mage, saying his illusions out on the supports, and this is now where the game gets a little bit scarier. You see, Tinker does have a shield, and that's unbelievably good. But I was gonna say it gets unbelievably scary because this AM can literally just kill any of the supports. If a support TP's down to a lane, say like, alright, I'm gonna need to counter push this, or AM's killing her tower, we need to kill it. Or you just kill the wave. You can actually just kill any of the supports in like a split second now. Not even worried about anything. And Windrunner's actually going for her Hex. This is what I love, is that when you put Windrunner in an aggressive tri-lane, even though she seems so sweet and kind and innocent, she works unbelievably well in tri-lanes because you're able to get that mech up faster, you're able to get that 4-step up faster, so instead of having literally no damage, you do quite a bit of damage at this point in this game. Kills gonna go off, but nothing comes of it. Smoke just ends up being of no real use in general. Scream of Pain goes out, gonna Hex up the Tinker, and he's gonna just do the counter thing. And by the counter thing, I mean he's gonna die. But he just counter hexed, got the Queen of Pain down low, but just didn't have damage to follow through, and managed to pick her off. So,
The Dire went and fortified
yeah,
their
a
structure.
shackle out on just some of the illusions. Actually, that's gonna be AS. It's gonna be the Darkseer, just getting picked off. Really, really nice body blocking coming out from the Nyx Assassin, but ooh, why didn't that shackle land? But it doesn't matter. Meld Strike, or the Blink Meld Strike's gonna end up finishing him off. So, yeah. And that person with a bunch of characters in his name has reconnected, or a bunch of characters as his name. That's just less racially known. But we see that the two lead farmers do happen to be the anti-mage and the Queen of Pain, but I have to check net worth. Because TA and the anti-mage are actually neck and neck in terms of net worth, and so are the Tinker and the Queen of Pain. So pretty much, if we bring up the gold charts, we should be about, I'd say about a 1k, no, I'm going to say a 1k advantage in the way of Dire. And actually, whoa, that's pretty surprising. And this comes from the fact that the supports really aren't fed at all. We actually see about 4k gold advantage going the way of, I don't care if you're a bear, I want to check the freaking EXP graph. About a 4k gold advantage and about a 5k EXP advantage. They are 5 and 15, and I missed a kill on the Quap. I'm so sorry. I was going on rambling about how awesome MUFC are for like doing so well in this game. But yeah, I mean, TA can't stop bringing it up enough. She did get first blooded, and I was made just this awesome recovery back into this game. They didn't have a worse spawning this movement out, so they're going to be completely aware that this is happening on the bottom line, so they won't be taking any sort of like insane risk to defend. Nyx Assassin actually has a gem up. Make sure that Didi Ward and just screw with the Sand King. So that's really strong.
Radiant's bottom tower's done for.
And it'll be another tower down. So just putting more and more pressure out on this lane. Meanwhile, the split push is happening. Sand King does have his Blink Dagger up, so at 33 minutes on the support Sand King. Ideally he'd be level 11 instead of level 9, but he still managed to do quite a good job. This really hasn't been a huge team fight game. This has been all about the split pushing, all about the strength of just individual pickoffs, and so on and so forth. And yeah, I mean, both teams have a really good team for doing that. None of them really have team fighters except for the Darkseer, which would explain why the Darkseer is relatively underfed.
Invisibility.
So we see that anti-mage does have a BKB, opted to go for it. Each anti-mage has their own way of playing it. Some say, alright, the Manta style gives me enough defensive related things for now. I'm going to go into something more damage oriented, like the butterfly, or the Vlads.
even though Vlad's is more for sustainability too, and just awesomeness in general. Shackle, not gonna latch, really should have. Quite a shame actually. But Windrun's going to try and find the Quap, but shoots the wrong way, not to mention Power Shot doesn't disrupt TPs. Otherwise Windrun picked all the time. But I mean, just this is gonna keep boiling down to who is going to eventually get the correct pickoffs. And honestly, MUFC have a much better advantage when it comes to this. Also, tower went down by the anti-mage, but it was a T1, so it doesn't matter. They've got the Nyx Assassin, and they've got the TA with Blake Strike. And not to mention they've got perma-hacks out of the Tinker, and all they have to do is pick off that anti-mage and at the right time, and they win this game. Anyways, Smoke Gang gonna come in, smoke on smoke. Ooh, we see the Shadow Demon get caught or catch out the Rubik, who is now very sad and also very dead. Ooh, 4-man Waldo gonna do quite a bit. However, that Queen of Pain reflects her own Scream of Pain right back at her. Unfortunately, Windrunner and Nyx Assassin both die in this process, but Queen of Pain's at virtually no HP. Eventually goes down to FCFC, but that anti-mage just having a field day. And actually, Darkseer managed to pick up the TA, but all that ends up living out of that. That was a very, very nice epicenter coming out of that Sand King that did tons of damage to not just to really just the support, just doing work. And actually, that Tinker ended up going for a Ghost Scepter. I hope going for an E-Blade next. That'd be really cool just to see that ton of damage come out out of the Tinker. But yeah, really nice trade coming out of First Departure. They're definitely not out of this by any extent of the imagination. Just the thing is, they pretty much put all their eggs in the anti-mage blanket. So fights like that happen more and more, where the anti-mage just is able to run free and do whatever he wants. Yes, they're gonna have a very, very hard time. But at the same time, all they need to do is kill off that anti-mage. And if things happen like that, where the Quap gets her Scream of Pain reflected back at her with that Spike Carapace, or the Sand King doesn't get a perfect, I'm sorry, they need ideal circumstances to happen. They need to have the Scream of Pain, or the Sonic Wave, not get reflected back at them by the Nyx Assassin. It also needs to hit along with the Epicenter on pretty much an entire vacuumed side of MUFC, like that happened. The reason why that Darkseer ended up even getting that pick off on the TA was the fact that he had 4 illusions attacking the TA and just ripped through his refraction whenever he put it up. So TA able to do virtually nothing during that fight because of it. But still, Anti-Mage is their lifeblood right now, and I'm guessing he's gonna go for a heart. Realizing this, he just needs to be even tankier. And if I am wrong, then I am wrong. But I mean, the other option is he goes for the butterfly. Those are pretty much his 2 ideal options right now. Just doesn't do enough right now to go ahead for Bloods. One of his supports can get that. But we see Darkseer does have his pipe up now. In addition to the mech, point booster up means he's gonna go for his Ag Scepter right after this. This is kind of stalemate right now. First Departure's all smoked up. Ooh, actually, everybody gets revealed out here. FCFC gonna be the start of this all. Gets disrupted, but the wall goes right back onto him. Takes a couple hits down onto the Queen of Pain, but is now running for his life. And AM just gonna go ahead and pick him off. Meanwhile, on the sideline, Sand King's thrown onto the sidelines. What is it? Tinker just having a nice little time. Not going to be able to TP out though. That Anti-Mage going ahead and scoring the double kill. Meanwhile, that's a dead Darkseer. So that's 3 for 2 with a buyback, but it was the 2 kills were once again on the most important people on MUFC's side, which is the Tinker, and on the Templar Assassin. And this is the thing they need to do, which is they need to turn Baby Roshan into a really, really big pig. That is their one goal. No, they need to get something further out of this. They can't just pick off the 3 supports first departure and lose 2 of their cores and say, you know what, this is okay. They need to get something else out of it, and that's exactly what they just did. Is they managed to get the 3rd Roche, which includes the cheese, which Nyx Assassin is going to pick up, which most likely will be giving to the Tinker, because the Tinker I'd say needs that the most. He's going for an ultimate orb now instead of going for the words. Instead of going for either the Shivas or the E-Blade like I was thinking. Let's actually see. Probably means he's going for the Lincolns. Make it so he doesn't have that same event happen to him again where the AM just was like, screw you, and just noped him. Noped him pretty hardcore. I mean, you can go Manta, but I just don't think there's no huge like disables that they're throwing down that would be Manta split. No silences. I mean, well, actually, she hasn't had any item progression like the last, I don't know, last 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Still just sitting on the BKB and on the Sheepstick, not having nearly as much of an impact after these supports managed to tank up quite a bit. So Windrunner already has her Hex, so that's huge. Not to mention she's just going for a Demon Edge now, which means either crits or MKB, and MKB with Focus Fire is one of the coolest effects ever. It's just so nice, and so good, and so much happiness. Actually, managed to get the stun off. Hex is up, and now they're going to be able to perma-hex this guy down for however long he wants, except he's going to manage to blink away to safety. So the BKB, saving his life. And Tinker guessing exactly where he was, just wasn't fast enough then. Alright, cool, you guys can't hear that. There's a vacuum going on right now. Vacuum inch. Anyways, this TA, going for the She's gonna be going for the butterfly. Once again, helps with the attack speed. People say like, oh, you don't really need attack speed on her because you can just go full on damage and everyone will be happy. But butterfly is the most efficient DPS item when it comes to agility heroes, so it makes enough sense. 30 agility gives you 30 damage plus 60 attack speed, 30 from the item, 30 from the agility, and then the 30% evasion means you don't have to rely just on refraction to avoid damage. Even though refraction is really, really nice, it does have a cooldown, and it does have a mana cost. But anyways, we see MUFC going on in to the Radiant Jungle. Just gonna try and find a pickoff, but they're gonna find the only one there is Magic Carpet or Anti-Mage. And he did go for the heart. He is realizing, you know what, I am our team's real damage here. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get the heart. And now he'll probably be selling that TP scroll. It's my best bet. Nope. He'll probably be going for the butterfly next. But then, see, this game is really close as it is right now. And that's with the 4-slotted anti-mage. What happens when he gets 5 slots? Well, they have enough to deal with them for right now. But just for right now. If he gets 6 slots, he's probably going to start, or 5 slots, he's probably going to be going crazy for a little bit. But only for a certain period of time. That is when that anti-mage will be perfectly capped out. And he doesn't go up from there. He'll be 25 and he'll have everything. So, whereas then the next person to get really big would be the Queen of Pain or the Darkseer. But if we look, the Queen of Pain is even below the offlane Windrunner at this point, who I believe should reflect. Doesn't have her MKB just yet, but does still have quite a bit of cash. We see Winter now pretty much once his Yule's up. That'll help him deal with the anti-mage. I think that once he gets oh, it's just cheeky. Once he manages to get that and a Ghost Scepter up, the anti-mage will have one less target, and he can really focus. Next assassin, already you pretty much don't focus him because he's just scary. Almost as his 4-staff blink also. We see Windrunner. I already went over Windrunner's inventory a lot, and it was for a Lincoln Spear, so you can't get anti-mage ulted to interrupt his. You also can't get Sand King Cursor or Burrow Strike clicked. You can get Burrow Strike struck in general, just it can't be clicked on you, and it gets rid of Rubic Lift and Rubic Fadebolt if Rubic clipped you. So nice little item. Not to mention it gets refreshed via the rearm. So handy little item, gives you a ton of mana regen too. I mean, just another 150% mana regen item. And they're pushing the tower, and they do a lot of damage to it. And I'm not sure if anti-mage is able to push side push fast enough. Or did get wasted already, but focus fire is going. And it's going fast. You see that FC, just gonna go ahead and do whatever spell pushing you can. But at the same time, I mean, that anti-mage is just okay. He is gonna TP out. But cheap say, just target next the anti-mage. But I mean, the Rax goes down to half health. And the trade goes in favor of First Departure. This anti-mage doing quite a bit. They can't just send the Tinker back. He doesn't do things fast enough. Or they need to send him back faster, so there's 3 or 4 waves of march instead of just 1 when the anti-mage shows up. Because he's getting really, really scary now. And, does he go for it? No. He's just going to go and keep farming. Anti-mage doing the farming. I believe that means, yep, Darkseer is 1 item off, only 200 gold. So, yeah, only about 50 gold, actually only 50 gold exactly off from getting that, that what's-a-jigger, that special item, a specialty, that Aghanim Scepter. So, the TA illusions and the Windrunner illusions will both be doing even more damage. The only thing is that TA and Windrunner are getting most of their damage from bonus damage items instead of instead of stat items. Instead of stat items. So it's not going to be some absurd increase in damage. It's just going to be a little extra. And Tinker, I mean, Tinker Illusion's actually doing quite a bit of damage. Those are doing, it's doing 170 base as it is, so they'd be doing 200 damage a hit too.
No breaking through the Dire's structures for now. Dire's top
and that's the butterfly. Alright, so it does have the butterfly down. I honestly think they should be sending the TA back to deal with the anti-mage. I think he can take anti-mage on one-on-one. Unit, by the way, now has 6k gold. Anyways.
A healing power.
Illusion.
Kind of a little just straight up farming period right on now. See, Quin of Pain's actually managed to bring herself up to 5k gold. Probably gonna be saving for buyback mainly, but we'll actually give her some ability. Or we'll make it so she can buy an item soon. Also, this is what I was talking about, sending Tinker back quicker, so the creeps don't get, are gone. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift actually managed to get a nice little pickup, getting vacuumed back into the wall. Sand King gonna go off onto the TA. This could actually be huge. TA almost going down, but living, I believe, because of the cheese. And actually gets impaled up. Gonna go ahead and probably go down to this Windrunner, just focus firing her, doing so much damage. And just another huge damage going right on through. Manages to pick off someone, I can't remember who, but just ended up buying back. This is actually huge because this anti-mage is just doing tons and tons of damage to this rack. So much so that actually he'll be able to get the racks. And that, meanwhile, that's a triple kill coming out of the Darkseer, picking off the Windrunner. So this split push is just doing stupid amounts of work. And that's melee racks down. So even though they got the pick off right at the start of the fight, I believe on the Queen of Pain, I mean, she just buys right on back into the game, and almost she's going for an MKB now to deal with the TA. So once again, another great item. Item selection coming on out. And let me check one thing. MKB. Yeah, it deals bonus damage afterwards. So that might actually get rid of 2 instances of refraction whenever the bonus damage triggers. Not sure on that. If somebody would actually let me know. Once again, that'd be awesome.
Nothing now.
But yeah, just well played out of first departure. I mean, it's no real surprise, 50 minutes of anti-mage doing work, but still, it's a 50-minute anti-mage doing work, and he will have his butterfly up now. I believe he's same. Yeah, he's still got another 4K unreliable gold, so he's like, alright, might die. And if that happens, that would suck. And I need to buy back, so you don't lose all your unreliable gold, you just use a lot of it. And for those of you who don't know, reliable gold is gold you get from towers, hero kills, hero assists, and Roshan kills. Whereas unreliable gold you get from killing creeps. You can think of it as reliable gold is like your paycheck. It's something that's put directly into your bank account, whereas unreliable gold is the gold you get from beating up some kid on the side of the street and taking his lunch money and putting it in your pocket. Yeah, it's unreliable because you may or may not get them, but you may or may not get that money, and it's not secure. Because you continue to walk around with thousands of dollars kids you beat up. Anyways, analogy broken. See, sports having a grand old time, and by grand old I mean awful time. Rubik still at 51 minutes hasn't been able to get up his arcane boots. Just worried about buyback. Ooh, actually here, sheep go up onto the anti-mage. This is a huge pickup onto the anti-mage. Anti-mage is dead, but he also does have the ability to buy back right away, and will do so. Meanwhile, the Darkseer Illusion is doing a ton of work, but also in the process he gets picked off. FCFC just trying to do what he can and actually managed to two-shot the Rubik. But meanwhile, they've lost the Shadow Demon, and now they're worried about this Queen of Pain with her absurd damage after her most recent purchase. She's actually doing quite a bit more damage. Tinker manages to blink out, and Windrunner will speed run away. But that was really, really huge. Ooh, and actually another huge pickup possibly coming out right here. Yes, and going to pick up the Queen of Pain with the DD, Nyx Assassin, with the Tinker, and with the Windrunner. So, another big series of plays. And another Sheepstick going right on off on Lubby now. And we'll just Barrow Strike away. The Nyx Assassin does have the mana. However, gonna scare him into thinking they do, and force the Blink Dagger away. So, once again, very, very nice little play coming out between the Windrunner and Nyx. And these are the three heroes from Aggressive Trial actually doing quite a bit of work into the later and later stages of the game. Not just kind of falling off the face of the earth like this Rubik has. I mean, this Rubik just really hasn't been able to contribute to virtually anything at this point. And Tinker is now going for multiple levels of the Dagon to really round out his build, and then after he gets to Dagon level 5, he'll most likely go for the Eagle Song to make the Ethereal Blade, so then he can just do like silly damage. So yeah, even though FD is 1 Rax ahead, really doesn't mean too much right now. MUFC doing a good job being able to keep the split push up. And once again, this is going to be the 4th Roshan going down to MUFC with no contestation. That'll be Cheese for Aegis for the Windrunner, and Cheese for the TA. Realizing that this Windrunner is doing a ton of damage right now, especially with that Rapid Fire, that if she gets her MKB up and can buy it reliably, knowing that she has the Aegis and to help out with fights, that she will be extraordinarily useful. We're just going over to the side shop, I believe. 104. Anyways, Nyx Assassin
Actually, I don't know what he goes from here. He can go for a blade mail. He can go full on G and just say, you know what? Even after my spike carapace, you don't want to engage on me. And I'm just gonna sit here and keep mana burning you. Or he could go for something like a BKB just to stay even longer in fights. Actually, wow, look at all that mana just disappear. Is he anti-mage buy anything else yet? He did, maybe. He did. He did decide to go ahead and buy that. Ooh, that's why they're going. That's why they put a Divine Rapier out on this Windrunner, and with Rapid Fire, that's gonna do so much damage. Like, I can't even stress how much damage that's about to do. And look, now we're gonna see it. Gonna go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4 shot. Oh no, actually managed to disjoint the shot. But nice BKB. But yeah, I mean, Epicenter gonna come on out. Oh, this has just gotten so serious. And they're still focusing TA. I don't think they've realized that this Windrunner has what she has. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Ooh, this is so intense. Oh, we're gonna go ahead and see a huge pickup on the Darkseer. His wall's down, but now his life's also gone, and I don't believe he can buy back if he wants to. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage is going ahead and pushing out the middle lane, but this Windrunner with this Divine Rapier is going to be able to do so much damage. I don't think they understand. Oh man. FC. I think they have to have realized it by now. They have to be saying, alright, she's doing a lot of damage. Why is that? Oh crap, for items. And 1, 2, yep. She's going to go ahead and take down that tower with little to no problems whatsoever. I mean, just look at the damage. That's one hit onto the Rubik. It's crazy. That's a sheep stick going out. I hear it. I don't know where it's on though. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and engage on this anti-mage. Anti-mage is still doing a ton of damage. Another sheep stick going off onto FD, but I mean nothing really happening because of it. Everything's still off cooldown. Oh man. But I mean, at the same time, Top's pushing in. Tinker's gonna have to TP back soon. At least drop 2 or 3 down. 2 or 3 of those archers down. Ooh, and the Radiant Melee barracks does end up going down. FC blinks in without his BKB up though, so he'll be able to be taken down really quickly. She's keeping him alive for a little bit longer. Still managed to get a double kill. 5-man vacuum back, doing really nothing in general though. And the anti-mage is down. And I don't believe, yes, he does. No, he doesn't have buyback. He bought out his butterfly, so he's not going to be able to buy back. And this should be GG. I mean, you've got a Divine Rapier Windrunner who's actually just going to sacrifice herself to the greater good, so she can go ahead and get her her full health and full mana while doing stupid amounts of damage. And I don't know what FD does here. I mean, MUFC can easily go ahead and take this second melee now, and they go ahead and get the stun off on as and 1, 2, you know, it's like just you add a meld strike plus a crit and that Windrunner damage, and my god, that's just such a stupid amount of damage. And this is apparently how you beat an anti-mage. You get a Divine Rapier on a Windrunner, and that's a BKB up that she just decided to buy now, so she doesn't have to worry about any of that shenanigans from the lift or the burrow strike or anything like that. She can just sit there with a rapid fire, and my god, this is a very, very well-deserved game, a well-deserved win coming out of MUFC. Gonna go ahead and take down First Departure. 58 minutes against an anti-mage, so really, really well played. You're gonna sacrifice yourself to the greater good. Yep, and there's the GG well play coming out from First Departure, realizing they've lost, and there you go. That is a 58-minute game between First Departure and MUFC. We saw a 6-slotted AM just go down to this really, really well-rounded MUFC lineup that really should have peaked at about the 30-minute mark. There you go. 605 last hits from the anti-mage. Anyways, this has been a game brought to you by Ditone. You can check me out at youtube.com/DitoneDota or twitter.com/Ditone. I'm going to be casting the rest of these games soon. Not actually sure why, or not why, but when. Oh, also make sure to check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/XESDitone.
But yeah, this has been the first game of the Netolic Dota 2 Season 2, or 2nd edition. Hope you enjoyed it. And stick around, I'll be casting some more soon.